The Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, that's the DPCI, also known as the Hawks, says that it will oppose the application brought by Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane to interdict an investigation against him. Now, Mabuyane filed an application in September seeking an order to set aside the Hawks' decision to launch an investigation against him into allegations of fraud, corruption, money laundering, and this for the periods 2016 and 2018. And the investigation relates to a vehicle that was purchased by a company called SALP Holdings and initially registered in the name of ANC Eastern Cape Provincial Office, which was subsequently then changed into Mabuyane's name and also to renovations at his home. Now, head of the Directorate, General Godfrey Lebeya, joins us now virtually to talk more about this. General, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Madam, and good morning to your viewers.
General, let's start, just to locate this particular matter. So the Eastern Cape Premier, Oscar Mabuyane's affidavit that was filed in September says that his application is asking for an order to set aside the investigation that was launched against him into unspecified allegations. Now, which investigation is he referring to here? Is it a new investigation, or is it the one that the Hawk says it had completed in March already?
Let me indicate firstly that we appreciate you extending an opportunity to the Hawks to clarify these matters that are already in the public platform. Secondly, I need to be indicating how the Hawks operate. All the members in the DPCI have taken an oath of office in terms of the South African Police Service that we shall operate and ensure that we protect and uphold the Constitution. The fundamental right of every individual shall be protected. This includes the rights of the suspected person as well as the right of the complainant. We have indeed received in September a notice of motion that was tabled in the Eastern Cape High Court that is situated in Bishop. And then based on that notice of motion, on the 22nd of September, the state attorney also filed a notice of intention to oppose, which means that from that period, the matter will obviously take a civil route, which have got timelines. And at this stage, we can indicate that the council have been enlisted to provide the necessary documents which are required in terms of civil process. The case that we are talking about here, as you correctly indicated, the investigation started in May 2019. And our work, obviously, what we believe to be needed was completed. And as the process dictates, we collaborate with the National Prosecuting Authority, which direct us to what needs to be done next. And I think in line with that arrangement, that is where the suspected person were given an opportunity to state their side. That, I think, is what I can say. I will not deal with the merits of the case. I will not deal with what is contained in the case, but safe to say that what you shall have read in the supporting affidavit, the founding affidavit, is what we are dealing with.
So, Mr. Mabuyane makes a few contentions. Firstly, the matter was completed in March 2021. The investigation started in 2019. So, Mr. Mabuyane, was he informed of that investigation and the findings at the time?
When you read the founding affidavit, in the civil court, you will realize that it also stipulates the dates when the members of the DPCI shall have engaged. That is the normal procedure that a suspected person needs to be given an opportunity, and it is based on that engagement which I think has triggered this motion.
So, Mr. Mabuyane also, says that he doesn't quite, I suppose, reading that particular affidavit, understand why the proceedings were instituted by the Hawks in the Free State, whereas it's alleged to have taken place in the Eastern Cape. Can you give us an explanation for that as to how the DPCI works in instances such as these, General?
Yeah, without dealing with the reason why the matter that appear to have occurred in the Eastern Cape may have been investigated by members from the Free State, I will not dwell on that because that will be part of the reply which will be contained in the affidavit. It will be explained. I will not deal with the merits, but let me just explain how the Hawks operate. The Hawks is a national entity. We operate across the national borders. So anything that happens in the country, I can assign anybody from anywhere to conduct that. Normally, we let those that are in the closer vicinity to conduct the investigation. But if you look at how we have done in the eThekwini Durban waste, the members that I have assigned to deal with that matter are not coming from the KZN. If you look at the murder of a lieutenant colonel in the Western Cape, where a criminal gang was involved, I haven't involved solely the members from the Western Cape. I have taken from other provinces and directed them to go and conduct the investigation there. If you look at the arrests that we have done in some municipalities in the Free State, the members that were conducting that are not solely coming from the Free State. You look at the investigation of the political killings in KwaZulu-Natal, they are not solely from KwaZulu-Natal. So the members of the South African Police Service can operate anywhere in the country as long as I'm aware that this is the assignment that I have given them, and they collaborate with the local investigators. So that should not be an issue about it. It has been happening all along.
So just going back to the second part of Mabuyane's affidavit regarding information, because he's asking for information to know the basis of the suspicions against him, because he says he's being referred to as a suspect. And this, of course, is where it gets slightly confusing, because it assumes that he's not aware of the reasons for the investigation. And I know you touched on it slightly, but is Mr. Mabuyane fully aware of these allegations and the investigations against him?
Yeah, because that will be part of the affidavit. I'll not deal with the merits as to whether one is informed sufficiently or not. As I say, that the normal practice is that the investigating officer will indicate to any suspected person as to what the allegations are, as to whether the other party will feel that the information is sufficient to be able to respond is something else. And that, because it has already been now tabled in the civil court, I think it will be entertained there.
And also, General Lebeya, Mr. Mabuyane says that he will be taking the Public Protector's report on review into this particular matter. But as far as the Hawks is concerned, there seems to be an indication that he feels that this investigation is instigated by the ANC suspended Secretary General Ace Magashule. How does the Hawks respond to that, and whether there's anything untoward, even if that were to be the case?
I think that whatever perception may be coming, everyone has got the right to believe in that. But as I say, our investigation started in May 2019. I do not know if any suggestion will say that in May 2019, when a complainant who have gone public suggested that it was instigated by the developments that may have occurred in 2021. From our point of view, we wouldn't like to be distracted by certain views. We look at what is contained in the affidavits. There is a complainant in the matter. We look at what is being said there in the affidavit. We will not allow ourselves to be distracted by any other person outside the relationship between the complainant and the investigators. So from our point of view, the Hawks, in each province, there is the provincial head who is accounting to the national head. They don't get instruction from any other place. So there is a line of command, and that line of command is not going to political spaces. So we are apolitical. We conduct our investigations independently. That is what I can assure the public, that we will not be distracted, and then we are not taking instruction from different quarters of political spaces.
And just finally, General Lebeya, just as a layperson in the public watching on and what's happening here, some are even saying it's an anomaly. But has it happened? Has it ever happened before that an investigation by a state law enforcement agency in South Africa, like the Hawks, was given an order by the courts to stop an investigation?
I am not aware of a situation where the investigating unit was given an order by a court to stop. What I can assure the viewers is that in the criminal justice system in South Africa, there are sufficient mechanisms to protect anyone who feels that they might be prejudiced. So there are sufficient safety valves. Among them is that you can challenge the process and the court will be able to listen and give direction. And then as a complainant, if you feel that the decision by the state to prosecute or not to prosecute, you are not in agreement with, you can also challenge that. So there are several safety valves, but I'm not aware of any case where the investigation itself was stopped.
Thanks so much for your time this morning. Head of the Hawks, General Godfrey Lebeya, affirming that the Directorate will be opposing Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane's decision to challenge the Hawks' investigation against him.